to Safari India's exclusive interview with Mr. Ajay Prakash, President, TAFI, Travel Agents Federation of India. Welcome, Mr. Ajay.
Thank you, Georgia. Pleasure to be here with Safari.
Thank you, sir. Let's start with a basic question. That is, as an organization, how have you recovered post-pandemic, and what challenges still remain? And what measures are you taking to help travel agents overcome these challenges?
As an organization, the challenges that we faced primarily were retaining membership because nobody was doing business. So we had to give some sort of rebates to our members to continue being members, because an organization derives its strength from its membership, and it was critical to retain our membership. So I'm happy to tell you that not only have we retained our membership, over the last year and a half, we've added on 163 new members to TAFI. So I think we've done all right. We've done all right.
Absolutely. And sir, then what are any specific areas where TAFI sees urgent government intervention?
Oh, this is something that has been going on for a while, and we keep knocking at the government's doors, including sending proposals before the union budget. They don't often get acted upon, unfortunately, because tourism, in spite of all the lip service that is paid to it, still remains a largely neglected industry. But there are a couple of really pressing issues which I think need to be addressed by the government if we are serious about tourism realizing its full potential. The first is the issue of the inordinately high GST that we have on the hotels. I mean, 18% is just way too high. And the problem is that, along with the rate that is applicable because of the room rent, the F&B is also taxed at the same rate of 18%. That makes us very uncompetitive. The other aspect of GST is that there is a tax on tax, which we end up paying. The other aspect is the TCS on outbound tours. Now, while the government, because of our various representations that we made through faith as well, rationalized this to say a threshold of 7 lakh rupees for outbound travel would be subject to the lower TCS level, and anything over 7 lakhs would get taxed at 20% TCS. The problem with this is that the onus has shifted onto the agent to assess what the client has spent. Now, we are in no position to do that. So this is the two crying issues that need to be addressed by the government.
And still, there are many customers that lack faith in travel agents. What confidence-building measures does TAFI take to address this issue?
Oh, this is very interesting, because you have people who think that they can do it all themselves, and they go and do it all, and then something goes wrong, and then they're stuck with, your call is important to us, please stay on the line for the next 24 hours. So I have had people who've decided, oh, I'm getting a cheaper fare. Then they go off, buy that ticket or buy that tour, things go wrong, and then they call. And I said, look, there's nothing I can do. I mean, you have to go back to the person that you booked with. So that's been a learning process for clients as well. Apart from that, we also did a public awareness campaign, which, we've got 12 chapters across the country. So we sent this out to all our chapters, and they disseminated it to their clients. And we did some bumper stickers as well, which said, without a travel agent, you're on your own. And I think that really sums it up.
That's right. And is there any accreditation of travel agents? And if no, are there any plans to unveil for this?
So there are two. I mean, the first, of course, is the IATA accreditation. All the active members of TAFI have an IATA accreditation. Similarly, when we take a member, we also do our own vetting, to check the bona fides of these companies. A third accreditation, which we have been importuning the Ministry of Tourism to look at, is MOT accreditation. Now, there are over 5,500 IATA agents in the country. Less than 10% of them are accredited with the Ministry of Tourism. Now, this is a lose-lose. The agent does not get any benefits that might accrue by being part of the MOT accreditation process. The government, on the other hand, has no idea about the breadth or the depth of the industry. And why is this? Sorry. This is because the government insists that in order to get Ministry of Tourism accreditation, you need to have at least one, if not two persons who are graduates of the IITTM or a similar tourism course. Our contention is, if a person has been working in this agency which does tours for the last X number of years, he or she is obviously qualified to sell travel and tours. IATA used to have a similar accreditation requirement that you had to have two people who've done an IATA UFTA basic course at the very least. And then they did away with it, saying, okay, if a person has been working in an IATA accredited agency for 2 years, then that requirement can be dispensed with and you can get your IATA accreditation. The same thing needs to be done by the government of India in order for them to know the extent and the players in the industry. So this is something we've been asking them to do. It just goes back and forth. We still haven't got it.
Sir, and can you elaborate TAFI's current advocacy efforts and successes?
Well, the last success we had was when we managed to get a partial rollback of the TCS, which was like, a flat 20% across the board for everything. We went and met the finance ministry, along with Faith and with the other associations as well. I mean, all associations work together on this one because it is an industry issue. So we did that. We also reach out to consulates, to airlines, to the ministry as well, aviation, tourism, finance, on issues that impact. So the TCS issue is one, the GST issue is another, accreditation, all this is part of the advocacy that we do individually as well as jointly with the other members of Faith, which is the apex tourism industry representative body in the country.
Is there any, how TAFI is addressing the need for professionalism and trained professional in the industry?
So on our website, we've got over 100 free courses, which are skilling courses. Some are sector specific, some are destination specific, and some are soft skills. These courses are available to all our members free of cost. There are also, if they want to, get into more detail, there are additional paid courses that they could take. But this is something that we started a year ago, and our members have taken advantage of this opportunity. Apart from that, we we have physical meetings at our various chapters where we invite experts. So we had somebody who came in and did a talk on cybersecurity, which is a big crying need today. We invited the consul generals of a couple of countries, Spain, Mexico, and even the US visa people, where we invite them to address our members. We do it physically with a link for other members across the country to be able to also participate and get the latest information. I mean, we all need to continually upskill ourselves, and TAFI tries to provide the right platforms and opportunities for members to do this.
And so how is your business being impacted by travel aggregators, and what measures are you taking to counter this impact?
There's two aspects to this. One is that the world is moving towards greater consolidation. Now, in India, we have probably the highest number of IATA accredited agents across the world. Australia has maybe 4 or 5, and everybody else is working through the franchise route. So size does matter today in the travel world. We when we got IATA accreditation, we thought we'd done something huge. Today, that accreditation means very little, because as a small agent, if you deal with an airline or you deal with a hotel, there's very little that you can get. Whereas if you have the volumes, the whole game changes. So people have come to terms with the fact that consolidation is here to stay. And some of these OTAs or the aggregators are also TAFI members. So we prefer to deal with aggregators who do a B2B rather than also B2C. And there are certain aggregators who do that as a principle. So you use, as a professional travel consultant, you look for the best that you can get for your client. It could be through an aggregator, it could be directly, whichever route works. So you use these tools to create the right fit for your passenger, whoever she may be. You don't fight them, you use them.
And sir, how is increasing rate of Schengen visa denials impacting travel agents and their clients?
That's a bad one. That's a bad one. I mean, over 12.1 million euro last year in rejected visa fees. I don't know whether some consulates are treating this as a revenue stream. I don't know. But see, travel agents are nothing if not resilient and adaptive. So what do? If you cannot get a Schengen visa and you realize the wait is too long and your passenger wishes to travel, you suggest alternatives. So the loss of the Schengen countries is the gain of other countries who have a more liberal visa regime. And that's what a travel agent or a tour operator will do. I mean, if you will not get dates, or if the rejection rates are very high, and I don't understand why they should be, because if the submission is through a professional travel agent, documentation tends to be right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you have this problem, then you look for alternative destinations for your clients. And that's what we've been doing. And that's what clients have themselves been suggesting. So, you can't go to Germany, or you can't go to France, or you can't go to Switzerland. Well, why don't you look at Kazakhstan? Why don't you look at Malaysia? Why don't you look at Sri Lanka? Or, why don't you look at all the other countries that are offering you either a visa on arrival, or a very easy visa, or an e-visa? So you look at alternatives. That's your job as a travel professional, to make your travelers' dreams come true. So you do whatever you have to.
Loss of one, gain of another person.
Absolutely.
And sir, what are the challenges in attaining goal of attracting 100 million inbound tourists by 2047, particularly in terms of policy and infrastructure?
I would say we're being very optimistic, given the situation that we're in. I mean, we need to really put a few things together if we have to make this dream a reality. Starting with our visa process. I mean, we need perhaps to open up a visa-free entry to many more countries. Countries that have done it for Indian nationals, I mean, that is a no-brainer. That's where you could start. Also make the e-visa process a little simpler. It is complex. I've had people call me and say, I can't do this. Will you do this for me? People who've traveled the world come back and say they're having a problem filling up the visa form, or getting a response, or having the website go, whatever. The process needs to be simplified. The process needs to be liberalized. We need to look at where we can relax and create a visa-free entry. Just lower the entry barrier. That's number one. The second challenge we face is the high airfares. Airfares have consistently been rising post-COVID. They're much, much higher than they were. So that's another challenge. Now, one way of tackling this is to bring aviation fuel under GST. If you do that, that brings the price down. It makes it, more affordable for the passenger, while at the same time, it keeps the airline afloat. You need a healthy airline in order to be able to have a healthy tourism industry. That's the first thing that we need. So that's another thing that we can do. The third issue that we have is connectivity. Between prime tourist centers, there's very occasionally, I'd say in many parts, very, very poor connectivity. I mean, Jodhpur, Jaipur, Jaisalmer, Udaipur. These are the four key sectors in Rajasthan. Rajasthan gets one of the largest number of tourists. You need better connectivity between these cities. You need Agra, Lucknow, Varanasi, better connectivity. This we definitely need much more connectivity than we currently have if we have to fulfill this dream. And a third major issue is public hygiene. We need to clean this country up. I mean, if we did that without spending one more rupee on marketing, we could get 4 times the tourists that we currently do. And this means, the Swachh Bharat campaign was a great idea, which the Prime Minister had proposed in his first term. We're 10 years down the line, and we've only seen marginal improvement in our public hygiene standards. Neighboring countries are much cleaner. I mean, why we cannot do this is really beyond imagination. So these are the challenges that we have if we want to realize that dream of 100 million inbound tourists. These are some of the issues that we collectively need to address.
What are the top 3 challenges and opportunities for Indian tourism sector?
Well, one of the biggest opportunities that we have is the burgeoning domestic market. Indians are traveling within India like never before. So we need to be able to handle that market. It's a different market than the inbound. It's vastly different. It's much more cost conscious. It is much more demanding. It is also occasionally much more polluting. The other opportunity you have is of religious tourism, which is picking up in a big way. But again, we need certain things to be in place for that. More streamlined procedures, better handling of people, when there are larger numbers. I mean, the Kumbh Mela is a great opportunity, but the Kumbh Mela can also be a nightmare. So, we need to get these things in place. But there's huge opportunity here.
It's walking actually on a thin line. If you go haywire, it's going to be a disaster. If it goes well, it's going to be a hit.
Yeah, it's colossal. We have a number of undiscovered destinations. That is another opportunity, I mean, Delhi, Agra, Jaipur, Cochin, Bangalore, all that is fine. We need to be able to move people away from these. Dispersal is what we need, to make this tourism sustainable, to make it worthwhile, even for the locals. Another big opportunity that we have is the cruise tourism. Cruise tourism is picking up in India. We need much more facilities, much more and better infrastructure, cruise terminals. The cruise lines have their own problems in terms of, GST being levied and all those things. But cruise tourism is again a huge opportunity, and India is only scratching the surface there. So yes, these I think are some of the opportunities that we have, and we need to really step up our overseas marketing. The overseas promotion budget has been slashed to 3 crores from 123 odd crores. I mean, we have to be out there. Countries are competing for that global tourism pie. We need to get our fair share. But in order to get our fair share, we need to have tourism professionals who do the marketing and who have the resources, financial and otherwise, to be able to do the job. So this is something that we really need to look at. Yes, domestic tourism has been the mainstay. Right through COVID, that's what sustained the industry. But we have so much to offer the world. We need to get the foreign tourist in, and for that, we need to do a certain amount of marketing and promotion, which can be done by tourism professionals. It's not really cost effective to say that the Indian missions overseas will look at the tourism aspect as well. No, you need specialized people. So these are some of the issues that we have. Let's see what the budget brings, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Absolutely, sir. And sir, thank you so much for your time and giving insights and your views about the industry and what opportunities we possess and how we can, improve and move towards our, set target, what we have set as a 100 million, inbound tourists. Because if that is sorted, a lot of other chunk would also be sorted in that target.
Absolutely right. Because, this is one of the biggest employment generators, reducing poverty, providing meaningful work to people. Tourism has immense scope. So I'd like to thank Safari for giving me this opportunity. I know that, from being a purely physical, you've also become a digital presence. Congratulations on that. And I think Safari has been one of our oldest and most respected publications. So keep going. And thank you for listening to this episode, for want of a better word, on tourism on Safari. Thank you very much.
Stay tuned for more such enriching conversation with Safari India.